for.
So let's jump right into those red flags.
Let's do it.
First up, we've got bid rigging.
Ah, bid rigging, one of the classics.
Which sounds exactly like what it is.
Competitors secretly working together to decide who wins a contract.
Creating the illusion of a fair competition.
When in reality, the outcome is predetermined.
And we've got a real-world example, right?
Oh yeah, a classic case. The Mount Sinai Medical Center case. A former official there admitted to rigging bids in exchange for kickbacks.
Wow. Ensuring a specific company would win those contracts.
Exactly. A system rigged against taxpayers.
Then there's the issue of defective pricing, which is a bit more complex.
A bit more nuanced.
Essentially, when a contractor hides information about discounts.
They offer to other customers, like commercial businesses, allowing them to charge the government a much higher price.
Sneaky. For the same product or service.
Oh, absolutely. And we're talking big numbers here.
Like how big?
Oracle Corporation had to pay nearly $100 million to settle allegations of not giving the government the same discounts they offered others.
Wow.
And EMC Corporation.
They got busted too.
Oh, yeah. $87.5 million for similar practices.
That really puts it into perspective. These companies are clearly playing a high-stakes game. But what about those cases where contractors bill for work they never even did?
Oh, you're talking about products not used, services not rendered.
That's just plain wrong.
It is, and sadly, more common than you might think. Especially in fields like construction, consulting, or inspections.
Where it might be harder to track exactly what's been done.
Exactly. Much easier to get away with it.
It's like charging someone for a 5-course meal when all they got was a bag of chips.
Right.
And then there's the good old-fashioned bribery and kickbacks.
Ah, the classics never go out of style.
Offering anything of value to sweeten the deal and secure favorable treatment.
And often involving conflicts of interest, further compromising the integrity of the process.
It's a blatant abuse of power, like that case with the CEO of Holiday International Security who ended up in prison for bribing a GSA employee to score millions of dollars in contracts.
And it's not just individuals. Boeing, for example, a massive company, agreed to a $615 million settlement for similar unethical behavior.
Clearly, this kind of misconduct has serious consequences. But what about cases where the product itself is the problem? I'm thinking about things like substituting materials for cheaper alternatives.
You're talking about product substitution, which
Yeah.
can be incredibly dangerous.
Especially when we're talking about critical equipment. The example that comes to mind is the Hexcel Corporation case. They ended up paying $15 million for selling defective bulletproof vests to law enforcement vests that were supposed to protect them but could have failed in a life or death situation.
And it wasn't just a few bad vests. This problem extended far beyond just one company. It revealed a systemic issue with the materials used in these vests.
That's a chilling reminder of how high the stakes are in the world of procurement fraud. But now we're about to go even deeper.
Oh, this is where it gets really interesting.
Into a realm where the perpetrators try to hide in plain sight, the shadowy world of hidden ownership.
Ah, yes. Trying to unravel these ownership structures can be incredibly complex.
It's like trying to solve a puzzle where the pieces keep shifting.
It's like a game of smoke and mirrors.
Luckily, we have a GAO report that shines a light on this issue, particularly within the Department of Defense.
Always good to have a light in the darkness.
And what the GAO found is pretty troubling. These opaque ownership structures can lead to price inflation. Imagine one entity creating multiple seemingly independent companies.
Ah, so it gives the illusion of competition, which allows them to drive up prices.
More shell games.
Exactly.
But it gets worse. These convoluted structures can also allow ineligible contractors to slip through the cracks, companies that are barred from working with the government.
Because of past misconduct, sanctions, or even ties to foreign entities.
And when it comes to defense contracts, those ties could pose a direct threat to national security.
You're talking about a whole other level of risk.
That's terrifying. Do we have any examples of that actually happening?
Unfortunately, yes. There was a case where an ineligible foreign manufacturer used a U.S.-based shell company to secure contracts with the Department of Defense. They were illegally exporting sensitive military data.
They were caught, right.
Oh, yeah. And to make matters worse,
It gets worse.
they were providing faulty parts.
Faulty parts, how bad are we talking?
Bad enough to ground nearly 50 fighter jets. This case really highlights the very real dangers of hidden ownership in defense contracting.
That's a chilling thought.